Yay!
Hey, I'm actually really glad that Matt asked questions.
Yeah.
I am
Hey,
really
look, guys,
excited
we're
to
live.
do that.
Hey.
Hello. Hello, people.
Hey. We expect a big crowd tonight, guys. Just FYI. Big crowd tonight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this a roast?
That's every show. That's every show for us. That's every show for us.
All right, so Mcilhenneys, do you guys feel close? Do you guys feel too close to each other, Mcilhenneys? Or are you guys good?
We're good.
'Cause I can make it spread out so you can be further, or I can bring you in to be closer. Is that better? Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I like that one because it's more logo.
I mean, you know. Wait. I think if we can do like half a Pat's face and there you go, and half a Shawn's face. Look at that.
Make it as weird as you can.
Look at that. Jeez.
I like that we're getting stuff for the gag reel immediately. Like right at the very beginning, it's like, okay, save that for the gag reel later on at the end of the year. It'll be great.
Yeah. It'll get weird.
Man.
Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming on the show right now for us.
Hey, it's our pleasure.
How's that bidet working for you, Pat?
It's the best thing I ever installed.
Right there.
Pays to show up early. Oh my god.
No Costco toilet paper run for you.
We're good to go. No pun intended.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
So, Shawn,
God can't help us now.
Yeah.
What's the name of this beer?
The Dryrish Stout.
The Dryrish Stout. Okay.
Yep. So it's a dry Irish stout. It's Dryrish. It's
That's a good way to describe it. That's a good way to describe it.
It's it hits all the specs on a typical traditional dry Irish stout, except for it's probably a little bit stronger than you might normally find. But pronounced baker's chocolate in the taste. It's got cocoa coffee in the aroma. It's got a creamy head. It's got a kind of velvety mouthfeel to it. It's like if you got Guinness on draft and not out of the can with the widget on, not on nitro, right? It's
very good.
Yeah, that was
it tastes wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, you got the cans already. That's fantastic.
I mean, don't pay attention to that, but
I'm loving it too.
It's a brown. It comes in a brown can. Look at that. So.
If you poured it into a glass, the color would be significantly lighter.
Yes.
Yeah. That was the
all right, guys.
Parameters for the new brew house. So
let's get this show on the road. You guys ready?
Sure.
All right. Don't say a word. Shh.
Hey, welcome to the Indie Beer Show. What do we got? Oh,
He's got
beautiful.
Put on his fall pine shirt. That way he went to go change.
Rub your goatee.
Well, folks, there are shows and then there are shows. Today is a show because we have Pat, Val, Shawn, and Jamie from Mcilhenney Brewing.
Hey.
You don't know it yet, but you already love it. We all can't wait for it to open up, which is happening pretty soon. And they've been kind enough to come on and kind of like give us some of the history of their family as well as where they're going in life here with this future operation. So we're really glad to have you here tonight. Thank you, guys.
Certainly.
Thanks for having us.
And if you ask us questions that our answers are really dull, we're just going to make up stuff that's way more exciting. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Man, hey, future guests, learn from this. Okay, it doesn't need to be factual; it can be factual-ish, and it.
100%
All right.
false, but it's okay.
Actually, we'll make a game of it. At the end of the show, we'll be like, okay, what were the 3 lies?
Yeah.
Figure it out.
More like, what were the one truth?
Exactly. All right. Well, we've got a lot of questions for you, some of them even from listeners. So I'm going to just get right into it so we can go. But let's start with Pat and just say, take us back to the very beginning. We're talking about an Alpine that didn't yet have its own eponymous brewery. Not a sleepier place with not as much craft beer in general. How did it come to be that you did what you did, and how did you get into brewing in the first place?
Well, I was not happy with the beer selections that were available at the time, unless you lived in a really big city or downtown San Diego, where they would be able to import beer and sell it and have it move through fast enough to not go stale. The beer selections were so heinous that I often wondered why people even drank it. Until I drank a nice Lowenbrau from Germany or from Austria or wherever it was made then, back a European beer, and it was fresh, so it wasn't skunked. And I was just appalled, because if this is what beer can be and you're selling us this crap, I was pissed. So I kind of pushed me into learning, hey, you can make your own beer. Why not try? So early years, I partnered with a fireman buddy friend of mine, and we were brewing beer and trying to learn how. And we went different directions. I started focusing more on hoppy beers. His intentions were more European style lagers. So started making beer and trying to match up to her palate, which is incredible. Her guidance was impeccable, because it made the beers award-winning beers just by her input, her ability to taste things that I couldn't even taste.
Yeah, picky.
And so I would enter contests. I joined Quaff. I would go to every seminar throughout the state of California that was offering how to open a brewery or brew pub seminar. I went to Colorado to the homebrewers convention. I studied enough to know that I didn't know squat. And so I just really focused on the key components and looked at this liquid that was being made for a long time. And knowing that everything has been tried, how am I going to actually come up with something that people are going to like and that uses these 4 ingredients in a different way? And so that was kind of the focus on the hoppy beers, because hops were always used for bittering before, and never a focus, a true intended focus on the aromatics. And it's, because they're fleeting, they're very difficult, and they are considered expensive, especially when you only throw them in your beer for a few minutes. It just seems like it's so wasteful. The old school thinking that, you're gonna boil the hell out of this and get all that bitterness out of it. Ooh, that had to go away. And the mentality of, yes, you're gonna take this $15 a pound hop and throw 10 pounds of it into this kettle for the last 2 minutes of the boil and hope that you can retain a lot of the aromatics. So the whole learning how to brew hoppy beers, how to use ingredients that weren't standard ingredients, or to exemplify certain aspects of non-traditional ingredients like honey or orange zest, or things that were not always the first on the list for beer drinkers. So a lot of trial and error stuff, a lot of ways to maximize things, use of hop backs, all the things that I could do to punch up aromatics and get good flavor out of beer that was lacking in the beers that I thought were heinous.
Yeah. And how many years are we talking about this process of you refining to where you wanted to be and where you felt good about?
Say that again.
About how long is this process of you starting out making beer and then getting to this place where you felt like, okay, we're in a good place now?
Almost 10 years.
UC Davis.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it was a lot of time. It wasn't like I could drink through 5 gallons really fast, so I couldn't brew it, quickly, because 5 gallons of beer, 2 cases of beer, that's a lot of beer to try to work through before you can brew something else. So, it took a while. I had a lot of friends that would come over then, a lot of fireman buddies that seemed to enjoy a free beer. And so it was kind of hard to get a barometer on, did it taste good? Did you like it? Or was it just because it got you drunk and free? And
free beer always tastes good.
I think it was a lot more of the free beer tasted way better. So it was hard to get, a good assessment from my fireman buddies because they just wanted to drink it. And I think, Shawn, maybe you and your friends in high school kind of had
yeah, that's when the keg started draining a lot faster, I'm sure.
And I didn't really notice it, so you did a good job.
Not in front of the baby, Shawn.
I would always tell them what you told me. It's not ready yet, but it would be hooked up to a tap, and next thing you know, I've got somebody with their face underneath the faucet saying, "It tastes ready to me."
I'm sorry, Shawn. Was that you? Damn it! Sorry, my bad.
No, it's not me.
Pat, they were just helping you get to that next brew. That's what they were doing. They were assisting
They
you.
were helping out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think it really did help. Because, if I could make it sooner, it just helped accelerate,
turnover.
And the beer was always strong.
Yeah.
When did you go to UC Davis? What years were that?
Oh, let's see. So I took my vacation in the summer. So it was summer classes, about 6 weeks long. I don't remember 96. What year. Is that 96?
95, 96.
95, 96. Sorry, right in there.
Right.
And that was more for the credentials. I learned more about microbiology and sanitation than I did about brewing. Right. The brewing end of the UC Davis extension program was rudimentary. I think the English instructor from England, he got all of his experience from Great Britain.
Mr. Baker.
And their brewing methods are as simple as it can possibly be. Single infusion, no messing with temperatures, and abundant use of yeast, because occasionally a small furry rodent would fall into their open fermenters. And the yeast was going to take care of everything, and so it was never. That's reality.
It burns off. It burns off. Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
you got to know about these things when you live in the I don't want to say countryside, but we are a little farther removed from the city than most, so. Rodents are an issue. It's nice to know how to deal with them, I'm sure.
Yeah, and they don't fall in the beer.
Yeah, why would you even mention
we don't have fermenters, so.
I'm having like a strange brew moment where there's like that mouse inside the bottle right now.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
We'll get more cats. It's fine.
Oh, the Lost Abbey root. I love it.
Yeah. There you go.
Get yellow mango. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
We had a couple of cats. They were volunteers. They stuck around for a long time. And everybody loved them.
Oh, wow.
We miss them dearly.
And so now, when the formation of Alpine, when was it like, okay, I'm ready, I'm doing this, we're going to have a brewery?
Yeah, I actually, Val and I were sitting at the Liars Club one afternoon in Mission Beach. Yeah, in Mission Beach. And Val goes, "Hey, what happened to that brew system that was down at Hang 10?" And I initially knew that when they closed, they put it up for sale for some ungodly expensive price. And that was the last I heard of it. And so it's almost a year later, we're wondering. So we asked a sales rep for AleSmith if he knew, and he said, I'll get right back to you. And he did. He said, "It's for sale. It's been reduced. Carl Strauss has a bid on it, and they're going to accept the bid on it, except the guy that's working the deal went on vacation." So Skip from AleSmith and I got together and put a bid together where I got 80%, he got 20%, and we outbid the Carl Strauss guy, and he wasn't there to continue the bidding.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think Paul
Segura
was with me drinking that day. Sorry.
Thank you, Abel. I owe you a beer.
I want to say he was the last brewer at Hang 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trained up Mr. Silva, as a matter of fact.
Yep.
Yeah, Chuck was there earlier than the end, but yeah, he was part of that. Skip worked down there a little while. There's a lot more. I'm trying to think of the Anderson Valley brewer that was one of the originals.
Not Arnie.
Not Arnie.
Britt.
Yeah, there you go.
Britt was the original brewer on that. I actually went up there originally, asked him while in Anderson Valley while he's leading a tour. I asked him, "Hey, did you brew on that system down there?" And he goes, "Yeah." And then, so what'd you think of it? And he goes, "It was a piece of crap. So it was undersized this, and not big enough that, and yeah." And then I said, I bought it.
And Pat goes, "I'll take it."
Yeah, I guess I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you, man. So yeah, I learned it was probably not a Cadillac. That we were more of a Volkswagen that we were brewing on.
Okay.
Yeah. Are we talking about a Volkswagen bus or more of a Beetle?
Beetle.
All right.
70s Cadillac.
So I bought the equipment and had to move it, and so I brought it up to our house here at Alpine. We got some land, so I stacked it in the far end of the driveway. And didn't really think about, well, gee, I'm going to cover it up, but the neighbors called the county and we had to do something with it. So I bought a cargo container and moved it in there. And then they were complaining about the cargo container. So it was legal where we are. So we had to deal with the county. And eventually the county had to tell the complainee that shut up, there's nothing we can do about it.
Mind your business.
And it wasn't even people that were, that could see it from their backyards. It was like a half a mile away. They could see it through their binoculars. What is it? Are they making meth up there? So after having it there, then I could kind of develop a plan for a brewery. And so I started monitoring places for rent in Alpine. And we found a place, and it was only available for a very short period of time. It was the place we ended up getting, but it turned into a bike shop for about 3 months. And then they folded. And so I went back and talked to the landlord. And fortunately, the landlord had family members from his distant past that brewed beer in the Midwest or the middle of the United States somewhere. he thought that was kind of cool that, the building that his dad built when he was 5 years old, the building that we're in now, would house a brewery. Now, mind you, it was 1,365 square feet. It's not very big. And that was everything. The tasting room, the merchandise, the office, and all brewing, production, and bottling. So it was cramped. If we wanted to do something, we had to move something. Spread it, move stuff out of the way so we could do one thing. And then if we wanted to do something else, we had to move that stuff out of the way and do that thing. It was just so small and cumbersome. And I kept telling the landlord I needed more space. The garage out behind our place, there was a young man that lived in it.
He was not young.
Are we talking about giggles again?
That's twice, you guys. That's twice.
Well, that doesn't count because that was the other episode, so we're good. We started new now, so we're like one.
Okay.
So the landlord kind of took his time and tried to get the guy to leave on his own, and he wouldn't. So he presented him with a bill for his rent for the last 10 years, and that got his attention. And that's when he finally moved out. And then we had to bring in the hazmat team and clean out the garage, tore the roof completely off of it, tore all the way down to 3 block walls, and it took a power washer in there twice.
It needed at least 5 more.
Yeah.
It was a hovel.
I'm sorry to bring up these painful memories, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, way to go, Brandon. Come on.
And where we are now is so much better.
Yeah. Well, you definitely earned it. That's for sure.
So I asked the landlord for 3 things when we moved in. I needed floor drains, more electricity, and water. We had a half-inch galvanized pipe supplying water to that suite, but it also supplied water to the hair salon and the diner at the other end. That was not enough water for a brewery. So he hooked us up with a better water supply. I think the underground knows what that's about. And then he put in a giant 6 panel or 6 meter vault that handled all the different suites in the building, and it was an extreme expense to put that vault in, and upgraded our electricity to an ungodly amount of power. And then, of course, I was thinking that I was going to pay for all this stuff, but he just did it, and I thanked him. He bought the floor drains and hired the people to come in and cut the concrete floor out to put the drains in. I hung the drains, and he hired the guys to put the concrete back in. He's a great guy. And when we get to the part about how we got this back, the landlord was instrumental in us allowing us to get this suite back.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, okay. So let's shift on over to Shawn, because we know how you got into brewing. I was going to ask Shawn when he got into beer. I guess we just found out, because basically it was like with his friends and his dad, and that's great. But when did when did the brewing part come into it, and you kind of figured out this can be my career? Was there ever any question? I mean,
when that moment, no, there was no question. But so when my folks opened up Alpine Beer Company in 2002, I think it was the summer, probably late summer 2002, I helped out. I was working somewhere else at the time, but I would try to help out in the tasting room, doing retail, filling growlers, tasters, cleaning shit up, when I could. Sorry, stuff up when I could.
Such language.
Yeah, I know, right? Ridiculous. 2003, we had the big cedar fire came through Southern California, San Diego County. It almost took out the majority of Alpine. It cut off power to the brewery for about a week or so. This was my parents' 25th wedding anniversary. They had a grand trip to New Zealand planned for their wedding anniversary. They took off, said, there's really not much we can do. There's beer in the tank, but there's no power to the building. So just keep cleaning stuff until we get back.
Here's the keys. Good luck.
At least they waved at you. They
I mean, he didn't leave you the keys to the Cadillac. He gave you a VW, so you're good, bro.
Yeah, the Cadillac with no gas in it. So they were in New Zealand having a good time. I felt like I had an opportunity to become a professional snowboarder. I moved up to Mammoth for the winter, had a great winter, worked on the mountain, tried that out, found out that I'm really not that good at snowboarding. I wasn't going to be My mistake was I moved up there and worked on the mountain. So while I thought I was going to be riding my snowboard every day, I just got to watch everybody else ride their snowboard every day.
Hey, look, there goes Sean Green.
2 days. Yeah. Yep, saw all the professionals riding all day, every day. Anyways, came back, begged for a position at the brewery back, and focused my attention on what does it take to make this work? How do I become better at what I'm doing? Started taking on every task my dad would let me have, transferring beer, cleaning tanks, bottling beer, you name it, and approached it with great vigor, and I was very adamant about making it work. And it took me about till 2006. I think my dad was still working at the fire department. We had open tanks. Beer needed to be brewed. There was the Pizza Port Strong Ale Festival coming up soon, and I wanted to brew a beer for it. Said, go for it. All right, write the recipe. What do you think? Okay. He gave me a couple pointers. We wrote a recipe. I brewed the beer. He was at work at the fire department, and that day, everything went right. It was a great beer. It was the first time I brewed Bad Boy. And at that Strong Ale Festival, it was the first beer to kick.
Nice.
So that led me to believe that I was not terrible at this.
Bad snowboarder, not bad brewer. Got it. Okay.
Focus on the strength, for sure. Yeah, so after that day, it was pretty much, wow, I really love doing this, and I want to do this as much as I can. And from then on, it was, I brewed as much as he would let me. I took over every responsibility I could, bottling, cleaning, deliveries. It was a roller coaster of stuff, but at the time I was young, I was capable and motivated, and that was pretty much it. Sky was the limit at that point, and I feel like I did a pretty good job up until the point where I got, that.
But are you talking about liberation? What are you talking about? Well, so let's talk about it. Kind of like you're talking about how great it was to see that beer kick first, and there's got to be a lot of just gratification you both have had, the entire family for that matter, watching the company gain steam in the early days and become what it became, just this small town brewery that's known not only within San Diego, probably less than San Diego at the time, than in other places who've heard of it, which is the funniest part. But just to watch that lore and his reputation grow. Can you tell us what that phenomenon was like?
Who?
Any of you. Any of you. Yeah, any of you.
Val can tell me. Pat can tell me. Anybody.
Well, I can lend you my perspective. The demand was off the rails. And if you've ever been in a position where you're doing something and you're doing all you can, and all you hear is, I want some. Why can't I get some? What, you don't like me? What did I say that pissed you off? Well, of course you can take on my account. It's just one keg a week. The demand was daunting. It really became cumbersome because most of the people that were asking to carry our beer had never been to our brewery and had no idea how small it was. And they wouldn't understand when I would tell them, we're just too small. We can't take on any more accounts. And the amount of accounts that we had was a handful. So it was, they just never took no for an answer. And that part was daunting. Nice. I mean, it's nice to be loved, but when it becomes, you're just an asshole because you won't sell us beer, then it's not so fun anymore.
Right. So who was your first account?
The liquor store down the street.
Our first bottle account was the liquor store down the street. That's the funniest thing ever because I was standing in line in the liquor store, right? A weird, middle of the day thing. And 3 people up from me is a guy asking the clerk, do you have any of that Mcilhenney beer? No, excuse me. Do you have any of that Alpine beer?
Same difference.
Yeah, same thing now. Do you have any of that Alpine beer? And the clerk is like, I don't know what you're talking about. So I had to speak up from back in the line and say, yeah, I'm here to try to make a sales call. So you can check back.
If you could pay and get out of my way, that'd be great.
Yeah, because all I want to do is, leave him this bottle so he can know that he can buy some. Our first draft account was O'Brien's. And I walked in, that was when Jim O'Brien owned it. And Jim didn't skip a beat. I walked in with a 22-ounce bottle of pure hoppiness. And he, straight face, took it. Okay, thanks. And he walked over, found an opener, popped it open, poured 4 glasses of it, handed it to his regulars at the bar. And a couple minutes later, they all gave it the yeah. And so Jim goes, yeah, I'll take a keg. And it took about 6 minutes for it all transpired. There's no hoopla. I didn't have to say much. It was all, yeah, this is good. We'll take more. And then San Diego Brewing was very shortly thereafter as well, because we learned a lot by going there. Their tap selection, they had 50 taps. You could tell what beers sold and which ones didn't. And that helped tremendously with what beers we were going to brew.
Baby! Baby's in. Sorry. Hi.
Hey, buddy.
I swear we're not this pale in real life. It's the camera.
It's the camera, yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously it's a camera. Look at this side. They look like they went to New Zealand and came back already. So.
All right.
He's tired.
Hey,
Look at him.
quick question. So, about how much beer were you making back then? What was your annual barrelage?
About 500 barrels a year.
Yeah, you just didn't want to give it to people. You just what
No,
a hoarder.
As soon as the tank would empty, I'd brew into it. There was no waiting around. There was never any lag. It was maximum capacity from about the day I opened.
And he did have the day job concurrently, so he had to be away several times during the week.
Right. Yeah.
And then those pesky fires that would crop up, and then you'd be gone for a week or two, and
That's where Shawn got to be a superstar. Do it, please.
Well, Mr. Segura said, "I want some duet now." Damn it, that's his comment.
He can have a trio. I don't know if you're focusing on any
trio.
Why do I like that?
Yeah, we might brew a beer like that soon.
You brew whatever you want. We're gonna buy it regardless.
You call it whatever you want. We'll understand. We'll crack that code. I'm loving it so far. So, with this demand, this unbridled demand, what was it like having such a bankable product that's a larger brewery comes along and they're like, I'd like to take that, do more with it, get to a bunch of states. I mean, that on its face sounds like a really a great thing to do. So first off, what was it like being approached about something like that? It may have happened several times for all I know. And then what was it like seeing those first beers going out to new people?
Yeah, about that. Okay, I'm easy because I'm being asked to be nice here, but there was a handshake deal with Green Flash to brew more beer for us. Mike actually called me and said, "Hey, I understand that you need capacity. We had some. We should talk." And so that was miraculously right after I had a deal with a brewery in Minnesota that is a contract brewery. 21st Amendment was using them. Their ownership group is in San Diego. Their family ownership. So the family son of the guy that's taken over for his aging dad got a deal going. We were full speed ahead on making beer in Minnesota at a brewery called Cold Springs. Their abundant water, their water profile matched ours perfectly. We were really happy about knowing the guys at 21st Amendment and how cool they were with what they had done for them. So we were moving along, and then they hired a vice president who basically took over operations. I was pen to paper, ready to sign the contract when this new vice president called me and said, "To distribute your beer." And so I said, "Well, that was part of the deal because you guys were going to be making it. You wanted to distribute it locally where you distribute. So yes, that was the original deal, but I don't really like your distribution company. And if I have a chance to get out, then no is the answer. I don't need a distributor." And he goes, "Okay, fine. Then the next question is, I understand you need somebody to brew your beer for you." And you just get this feeling of where this was going. And I called the deal off right then and there. And so 2 days later, Mike called and said, "Hey, I understand." And none of this was public. No one knew any of this. No one knew that I was working for contract issues with Minnesota. No one knew the deal fell through. Mike just popped up at the right time and offered the capacity. At the time, Chuck Silva was working there, and we were very like-minded. We had similar brewing styles. So I felt comfortable moving forward with just a good old boy handshake deal, hoping everyone stayed cool because you have to contract a tremendous amount of hops in order to get them. If you want a quality product, you have to actually pick your hops and not just rely on them sending you hops because you won't get as good a quality. So I had to be on the hook for hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of hops by arranging this contract deal through Green Flash. And so the deal I made with them, they were going to brew one batch, 250 barrels a month of each one beer a month of 3 beers: Duet, Nelson, and Happy Birthday. So I batched up the recipes and got them going, and we were working on changing recipes. And so you kind of have to understand the position I was in. I didn't have a contract. I wasn't bound by any legal means to have them continue to brew our beer. The contract that I had for hops was more than I could have paid for, so I had to keep this relationship going. When Mike asked me, hey, how about we make this all one big happy family? So I was kind of stuck, because he could have just said, oh, you don't want me to buy you, how about you just go away? And what would I do with all the hops I was contracted for? So that's one perspective that people really can't, know ahead of time. That wasn't something that was common knowledge. But I didn't have really much of a choice. I could sell or merge because I still retained ownership. Or I could just say, no, let's just keep this deal going and hope that he didn't max out his brewery and tell me, we don't have room for you anymore. Get out. That's kind of the long and the short of how having someone approach me to buy. The bad part was he bought us with money that he borrowed from the bank that he didn't pay back. But yes, he knew that we were a valuable asset, kind of a slam dunk if you knew anything about our reputation or the quality of the beers that we put out. You were going to be happy to be able to buy Alpine beer. And the beer that they were making went up to Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Sacramento in big lots, truckloads at a time, and all sold through. Let's see, Duet out of the gate up there in the bigger batches, pretty close, only a couple of tweaks. Happy Birthday took a couple more tweaks, still had a couple more to go in reality. And then Nelson, which was kind of a problem child. They didn't like the fact that it was cloudy. It just drove them nuts that they couldn't have this clear beer. Oh yeah. So yeah, I heard every conceivable, let's do this and let's do that, and hey, let's just filter a whole batch and see how it goes. And, oh yeah, none of that turned out good. So ultimately, that whole thing just turned to crap when the bank said, pay us back our money, and they said we don't have it, so they took it back.
Oh man, well, I appreciate you being so candid. I really do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want to take you down happy memories. So we're gonna switch gears here. Abel, what's our top 3?
I mean, trust me, that was the most hardest transition to try to make off that. I was listening to Pat talk, like, how am I going to transition to our top 3 with this? Yeah, this is not going to work. So thank you, Brandon. Our top 3 this week is our top 3 favorite family-run breweries, past and present. Wait, hold on.
There couldn't be a better shot than what we're talking about. The future of Mcilhenney Brewing.
Yeah, right there. Future brewer, right there. Look at him. Look at
that. He's putting your hat in the right position, Shawn.
Yeah, he's like, get your hat right, you hit it.
So
Please
again,
get him a shirt that says that future brewer in training right there.
They got it.
all right. So our top three this week is our favorite family-run breweries, past and present. I will start first. The Mcilhenneys. You guys can join in if you want. After I'm done, I'll go to Stella and Brandon, and then you guys join in. But my number three is going to have to be Half Door Brewing. The nice little, was it Irish kind of place wherever they're from, because they always had a half door. They have the two doors open and always left the door open and all that kind of stuff. So that's where they came up with the name. I remember the first time, I think it was within like a week of that opening, I was actually at Monkey Paw back in the days, and I was going to a Padre game. So I was walking from Monkey Paw to Petco Park, and I was walking by it, and I was like,
and there it was.
And I was like, it's like there's this place called Half Door Brew. I was like, wait, there's a brewery here?
Yeah.
And so I like walked in, and it was all family owned. Everybody was all one unit, and they were just like, yeah, we just opened up last week, and like I had their beers, and it was really good. And I think the brewer at the time was there, and he left a little bit of hiatus, and now he's back. And so the original brewer from the beginning is now back, and they make some great beers. His name is Dan. He's a great guy. He's fun, but yeah, that's my number three. So Estella, what's your number three?
This little place that opened up not too long ago. He was watching earlier. Five Suits. Five Suits is my number three. I love the place. I love the family. It's completely family run. And hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
I don't think he's a fan of us. I think
he's talking about you guys. He's talking about you guys. But yeah, just Nick and his family, they know what they're doing out there. They put out amazing beers, and I can't say enough about their hef. Absolutely love it. I love their whole motif that they have at the brewery. So if you haven't been, please go out there, visit Five Suits, and they have amazing food as well. So yes.
Food is great, and the atmosphere is equally as impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice. So shout out Nick, Candy, the whole family. Y'all awesome. Brandon, what you got?
All 5 of the suits.
Yeah, all 5 of the suits. All 5 of the suits. Yeah.
Mine is kind of like Abel's in that it's a brother-sister duo. Maybe you've heard of it, Pizza Port.
Hey.
Yeah. I mean, talk about some visionaries and people who, much like you all, look. This isn't here. Let's bring this to people. And then just the direction they took it with West Coast IPAs in particular, it's just been fantastic. And all the people who've been brought up through that system, that family of restaurants, and not even just brewers, but just we're talking about like members of the crew. I mean, they're is much a part of it, ingrained into the San Diego beer community.
Yeah.
So, and then they took it out of San Diego up to San Clemente as well. And they just can continue to innovate and stick with what they're really great at in particular, and just continue to excel there while making all these fantastic styles. And I like that they make styles, whether they're in demand or not. That's something that I think is just amazing. As somebody who wants to go and have something a little different sometimes, but man, there's nothing like just chilling at a Pizza Port. I love it.
Yep. Yeah. A shout out to Julian. I tell you what, that part of that little branch of the Pizza Port family, it's visiting. It's worth visiting. It's fabulous food.
Oh yeah.
The beer is excellent. They're brewing it in the little haunted part of the building there.
Yeah.
Cool. It's right down in front of the Graveyard in Jillian, which is an excellent after lunch walk. It's a wonderful little spot. Anyway, shout out to
Vince and Jeremy, way to go.
You love that guy.
I do like that. All right, take it down. What do you guys like?
Okay, family.
Number three for you guys.
My number 3 is Stereo in Placentia.
Oh.
So Rick and Amanda opened a brewery. Rick was an apprentice under Tom Nickel when he worked at Left Coast and won small brewery of the year for GABF or one of the two. Rick also worked at Firestone Walker.
Okay.
And so he opened a brewery with his family, his dad and mom, investors and workers there. His wife, a wonderful woman, and they make great beer. He's got a good pedigree. He had Left Coast and the standards that Tom set in place there. The experience that he got brewing at Firestone Walker and making this. I don't know. They make some stout, the Abla or something that's kind of halfway decent, I think.
I've heard of that. I've heard of that. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Tell me more. Never heard of it.
You could go.
Yeah, people watch this show for nuggets like that.
Well, and he likes music. If that's not obvious in the name of their brewery.
He has a bunch of records set up so that you can play them or give them to someone to play for you. And it's wild and unusual titles, and it's way fun. I mean, really, just love it.
Cool. Okay. Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Shawn, Jamie, you want to play?
I mean, Peachport is probably higher than number 3.
Ooh, burn, Brandon, burn.
It's a really good family-run business, I feel.
Yeah.
They may be closer to number 1, but I'm going to go with that for number 3.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, of course.
What about you?
Okay. Oh, I actually.
Okay.
Yeah, Val, do you have a number 3?
No, I don't.
Mcilhenneey Beer Company. Why not?
You mentioned, but I don't have one picked out. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's all good.
I didn't
Prepare your number 2. Prepare your number 2. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, you got time. You definitely got time.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the past. Let's talk about the nearer past that's leading to the present. When did you start, contemplating coming back into the business, having a second family brewing business, and just take us through that process and when it all happened and how you made it happen.
Who wants to tell this? Shawn?
Wow. Kind of saw the writing on the wall. So after the acquisition of Alpine Beer Company by Green Flash in, I want to say it was November of 2014, they set us up with 5-year contracts. That pretty standard business practice. I had a feeling that wasn't going to last forever. So close to the end of that 5 years, it was, what's next? This obviously isn't going to go forever. What's next? Let's do something. So we, poked our nose around, tried to find equipment that might be available, spaces that might be adequate. Kind of met with dead ends everywhere we looked. It was there was some potential offers that might have been okay. Nothing seemed to be perfect. So from there, it was kind of just a waiting game. Just wanted to see what was really going to happen, and it was that fateful day in March of last year. COVID had finally taken hold, and writing was on the wall. A bunch of employees got let go, and then it was, what next? And the landlord at our building was kind of instrumental in what was next. And from there, we've come to here.
Well, take us through it, please. Yeah. I'm so
Steve
eager to find out all the ins and outs of this. It's great.
Right? I would, but my kid is starting to throw a tantrum. So March of last year, every employee at Alpine had a scheduled time when we were going to get a call from the Human Resources Department, management, and they held the future of our employment in their hands, and it was not good for anybody. It was especially bad timing because Jamie at the time was eight and a half months pregnant. not working at the time. She was working right up until the time that she took time off to deliver a child. Got the phone call. Everybody under me at the brewery was terminated, with the exception of one employee who was furloughed. Every employee in the tasting room, except for one employee, was terminated. Every employee with Alpine Beer Company was fired from the restaurant with no hope of re-employment. And so it was kind of scramble mode. What do we do? Where do we go? How do we fix this? How do we move forward? And that's when the landlord stepped in. I don't like the way this went down. I don't like what happened. The lease on the property in Alpine is going to end in June. This is March. Do you have any interest in signing a lease on the property? Absolutely, we did. We moved forward with that, and that led us to where we're at today.
Oh, come on now. We can do better than that. So the landlord actually brought us in with him to his lawyer down in Mission Valley. His lawyer's email address is, I forget his name, but it's his name @evict.com. The landlord owns a lot of apartments, and so he obviously has a lawyer retainer for evicting the multitudes of apartment dwellers. So we were all in the meeting. The lawyer crafted the letter and the whole game plan on how we were going to mail, like 18 letters, and also serve certain people, like physically hand them your lease is not going to be renewed. So it wasn't an eviction. It was just you're now you have 30 days when your lease is up to be out of the building. That didn't happen, but it got them served and the ball rolling. And of course they weren't paying rent then, and they didn't continue to pay rent. I think they were out by December. Is that right, Shawn? Anyways, it took them almost 6 months to actually work through the realization, this really is happening. We don't really have a choice. Gee, what are we going to do? Let's just drag our feet. Let's try to make it as uncomfortable for the people that are taking over as possible. In the meantime, I'd been negotiating with the owner to buy the equipment. That was at best described as a joke because he never took anything seriously. Bottom line is we ended up paying less for what we bought through the auction than we would have paid had he just taken the offer. So, the whole process of getting them out was semi-rewarding, only because they didn't handle it in a way that helped themselves at all, and just cost them time and money and effort, and us time and money. So anyways, we're glad to be back in the building. We made all the improvements that we could in the time that we had, and it really helped a lot. None of the floors were sloped the right way. There was no epoxy on the floor anymore. Just an upgraded brew system. All the good things that we could fit in the time frame and the checkbook holding out to actually make things a lot easier and smoother. Now we can actually brew with one person and not kill them.
Always nice.
Yeah, the things that break your back are the things that I try to remove out of the process. Lifting kegs, carrying big bags of grain, walking up a ladder with bags of grain. We're trying to eliminate those things to help with the longevity of anybody that works there. That's you, Shawn.
I was gonna say, that's Shawn, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I think Dennis said it the best way he possibly could without you guys having to say it for it. He said that's a very nice way of saying they were dicks. Yeah. And Dennis also said that he knows a place in Shelter Island who will carry your beer pretty much immediately. So, yeah.
That's where you say, "Sorry, man, I don't have enough."
Sorry, man.
When I make that delivery,
I can't fathom that.
Yeah. Dennis, we love you, but anyway, yeah, I had to put that in there because that was a very nice way of saying it.
So now, what size system are you guys brewing on? Matt wants to know that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an oversized 15-barrel system. It's a Premier Stainless Systems brew house that we got for an okay deal. It had belonged to 2 breweries previously here in San Diego. It started out as spec hops, which was short-lived, and then Beach Grease came in and coffee equipment.
Val's reaction was the best, right there. Val's reaction was the best.
Yeah, that was the name of it. I'm not making it up. Between the 2 breweries, this brew house probably saw maybe tops 30 brews.
Yep.
And then the property was foreclosed on, the equipment was removed, and it sat in storage for quite some time. We were able to negotiate a fairly good deal, and by no small feat, it was able to fit into the building that we're in now. It was.
Tell them what you did to the attic.
There's no more attic. There's no more attic. Is that what you're saying?
Tell me about this attic.
Major alterations were made out of necessity to accommodate the size and the addition of. So not only do we have a standalone brew house, we also have a hot and cold liquor tank that are greatly oversized. So now we have the potential, with the right timing and ingredients and everything, to brew as much as it would take us 2 brews to make in one day, which is huge. I don't have to stand over the mash tun and mash in, 900 to 950 pounds was about our max of grain with a kayak paddle, a paddle that I purchased from Walmart,
buddy,
because they were the cheapest.
No graining out either.
Graining out is still a thing, but it's a little easier. Everything about it is an upgrade. We have finally stepped into the 21st century where, so expect quality to go through the roof. Not that it wasn't before, but, that's always been.
Watch out.
Well, congratulations on this time leap you've made and the DeLorean that's going forward. Now, one thing that has been very obvious is how excited you guys are to, see people again, to have people coming in and have beers with them, and just, regulars and people who make that pilgrimage. That's really awesome. Is there anything you're actually maybe kind of nervous about? Is there anything where there's a little trepidation, or is it all just like, nah, we got this? I think Jamie should answer this because she has a lot on her shoulders.
No worries at all. No setbacks ever.
Everything going according to plan.
Honestly, all the locals up here and all the friends in the industry and not in the industry, just that have come and enjoyed the beer up in Alpine in the past, have been so helpful through everything. They've showed up to help do construction. They've showed up to do so many things just around, and literally saved us through every single step, whether it was the day that everything changed last year, they all contacted us to see how we were, to see what we needed. It was the whole time since then up until now, they've all been so helpful. They show up, don't ask for anything. They just want to help and they want to support the family, the brand, everything. It's been amazing to see. It really has. And I would like to give a shout out to Giggles. I know we.
Damn it!
That's twice.
He's gonna show up behind us. Freaking minute now.
Watch your
He's
back.
gonna pop up behind us, and I don't know what to do. But he's been so helpful. He helped put the brew house together. He helped do so many things that I know Shawn's very thankful, and I know that he's been a part of the family for a really long time. But he's been amazing.
All kidding aside.
Yeah.
We love Chris.
Yeah.
And he has
And he
been
better show
instrumental.
tomorrow
in-
to help with my electrical issues.
There's that.
All right, so now we know what Giggles does there. But why don't you tell us how you're dividing all the duties amongst the family members? What are you all responsible for in this new business venture?
Okay.
I drink the beer.
Wait,
Just the beer drinker. If it's good, I'll let you know. If it's not, I'll let you know.
Right?
I'm okay at chasing babies.
Really good.
Yeah.
Actually. Production, processing, deliveries, when and if that arises. Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Yeast herder,
Yeah.
grainer outer,
Rainer outer.
the masher inner.
We
Yeah.
need no upper body. We're old. Come on.
The cleaner upper.
Yeah.
that's it. It's like more than a little helpful at this point. We're gonna have to upgrade that business card for sure.
Yeah.
Now that our fermenters are all full, in anticipation of us opening, now I get to focus on cleaning everything up, getting rid of the bugs in the system, prepping for
Glitches in the system.
There's no bugs in the system.
Thank you.
There's glitches.
Glitches.
Right.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
No bugs, no rodents. We're good.
My job. I'm currently covered in spaghetti, so I have that going for me.
There you go, Christina. He's back on. You missed him earlier, but back on for you, Christina.
There you go.
Come take them, Christina. You want
It'll come on.
Oh, so quick to get rid of your kid. I get it.
Oh, you wave hi. Oh, look at he's all sweet on camera. I'm picking off spaghetti that he's just thrown all over me.
So other than pasta management,
Yes.
what else do you do?
Trying to get the tasting room up and running right now. I'm going to be calling on Val to help me figure out bookkeeping. I've been calling on Pat and Val through a lot of it, just trying to figure out how to get the business side started and up and running. And yeah, no big deal. easy.
No big deal.
Nothing.
If you want to take a screenshot of this right now, this can be your Christmas card for next year. Right here.
So adorable.
It's really darn good.
Is this his first podcast?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey.
Yes.
Yeah. Young and young.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
There we are.
He's been to more brew days than he has podcasts.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's all uphill from here. It's all
There you
uphill
go.
from here, dude.
There you
All uphill.
Monster. That's what he is.
It's all
Right.
good.
All right,
Good.
Estella, what do you got for us? I think we have another
Well,
section here. That we're
Yeah,
going.
so I want to know what was the last beer you guys drank. It's a little segment called "What We Drank," and just tell me what was the last beer you drank. Right before the show, what was the last beer you drank? So for me, I've been drinking a couple beers right now. I was drinking Deftones, Belching Beaver Ohms, and before that or during that, I was drinking. Yeah. Yeah. And now I'm gonna open this one right here. So yeah. That's the last thing I drank. So Abel, what did you drink last?
So, because again, I'm connected somehow with a roommate of mine,
Hey.
and then I had to get this 91X X
Yes.
So
Independent.
yeah, it's a actually it's a pretty good. It's an extra pale ale. Is what they call it, but it's it's a pale ale style. It's got cashmere, it's got mosaic, it's got amarillo, and it's really good though. At a 5.4%, like it wasn't. It's a good drinkable beer, and I feel because there's always those beers out there. They always want to say, "Hey, I'm going to have this beer, and I want to get somebody involved in it. What should I have to get them involved into it?" And it was like. That is like a kind of like a beginner beer.
A gateway beer.
A gateway beer, yeah, exactly. So it's like one of those things like I mean I had it earlier today. I had about 5 glasses and then I moved on to the stouts, but we won't go there. So
pre-gaming for the show.
I was pre-gaming for the show.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna move the segment on to Brandon over there.
Oh boy.
Brandon.
Hey.
What you drink?
I didn't drink nothing today, but yesterday I drank plenty. I had a 2013 Stone Woot Stout,
Woot.
and right before that, thanks to a guy named Colby Chandler, I got to have a 2012 Ballast Point Victory C. That
Colby
was pretty awesome.
Colby just asked the question too. He said, "Do you need to be a bar to order a keg for delivery from you guys?"
If you're Colby Chandler, no.
Yep.
He's got to drive up to Alpine to get it.
Food.
Colby,
Kobe doesn't drive.
yeah,
Kobe
can you
doesn't
get there
drive.
on
He
his
has his one
Can you
wheel.
get on his one wheel?
One wheel.
Yeah.
Ride one wheel.
I'm sure Colby has tried to
drive
carry
back.
a keg on that, and I'm sure it's worked somehow. I mean,
Ernesto will figure out something so he can safely carry a keg on his one wheel. I know the man can do it.
Very good.
Yeah.
oh. All right.
Oh.
So you were showing us what you drank last, Shawn, Jamie. I'm like, you were kind of showing off.
That was
what
her
you had
kid.
drank
That was her
last.
kid. They weren't drinking last. That was her kid.
Drank for the last like 30 minutes.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Double tendencies,
Good project.
parallel patterns, and
Labels out. Labels out.
Labels out, sir.
Right.
Labels out.
Yeah, this interesting label from There Does Not Exist.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, up in San Luis Obispo, our buddy Anthony Bagdasarian works up there. Apparently, that's a one-man operation, making some pretty good beers. Yeah, the Kolsch was stellar. Pilsner was good. The dry hop Pilsner was good.
Awesome.
They're doing some good stuff.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Pat, Val, what did you guys drink?
Before the stout,
Yeah.
it's been a couple days, and it was Mother's Day when we had some vultures. We're Vultures Fair. Wonder what we
Oh,
was.
nice.
Yeah, it was Mother's Day. What else do you drink?
Got
Yes.
some micheladas.
Oh, we had a Michelada first. You're right. Got to visit Ani, and that was really cool. But you had to stop in East County at Bernie Beer and perhaps have another beverage before you go to Alpine.
There you go.
Yeah.
And the last beer that I drank before this was a couple days ago, and it was called Built for Speed, made by Grains of Wrath out of Camas, Washington.
Okay. Nice.
It's the gold medal winning beer, so.
Well, now we know.
Oh, well, now we'll have to try to get that. Okay.
Yeah, if you can.
Yeah.
You have to know somebody up there. They'll have to send it to you.
Do you know Joe? Joe
You have
works
to
with
know somebody.
I don't know
Uh-huh.
anybody. I don't know anybody. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
She doesn't know somebody. She knows everybody.
No, not at all. Not at all.
All right. So after this, I think we should go into our number 2 of our
Number
top
2.
3 favorite family. So now I switch you guys. So Pat and Val, you guys want to go first?
I got mine.
Yeah, go for it.
My number 2, Russian River.
Aw.
Sorry, they're not local, but they are family owned still, which is super cool.
And they just came out last year, so I get it.
Yeah, they just opened. Yeah.
They just opened up.
Really new, kind of, sort of, not so much, but great people. Just start Start from that. Great people, and they really care about many of the world's concerns too. So you want to support the people that are doing the right things. I want to support them too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they're California, so they're always local.
Yeah.
So-
And they started down here.
So
So,
many of our
Yes.
people have been involved with them. My God, Travis Smith.
Oh no, we had him on the show, and he was like talking about how he was like started down here, and he like how he it was actually a great show. It was a really good show. We just let him talk. We didn't say anything.
Yeah, we just sat here. We just sat here.
Talk, go for it.
We'll drink Pliny. It's gonna work.
Yeah.
The winery.
Mhm.
There was a ghost at the winery when he had when he was at Russian River when it was part of the winery.
Ah.
They, gosh, I
yeah.
came out of the brewery and the hose was on. No, it's off. And he had lots of that. Natalie told me stories. It was kind of interesting. Like, interesting stuff.
I'm like, okay.
Whatever.
Real quick.
I think its first beer was real good.
Yeah.
I don't remember turning that hose on or off. It was good.
All right, Shawn and Jamie, number 2. Maybe.
I don't know how deep it runs in the family, but Barley Browns up in Oregon. Tyler Brown and all the crew up there they seem like family, and they make awesome beer. So
Okay.
we'll go with them.
All right.
Cool.
All right, Brandon.
Speaking of pizza port, how about Bagby beer?
Good
one.
I really
I feel dumb.
appreciate the fact that I appreciate when people have the strength and a partner who put that faith in themselves to just go gamble on themselves. It's not really gamble with his skill sets, but to just say, no, let's not just open a brew pub. Let's take over a giant car dealership, multi-story. Yeah, and just make this phenomenal place. It's unlike any other brew pub, really. I think in town, just because it's so unique. And then go about your business. Go about what you've been known for so long, is making these archetypal styles that just span across different traditions from different countries, and just do a really good job at it. I just respect the heck out of what he's accomplished, and making that ballsy move and having the support of your spouse is amazing. I can say that I have accomplished very little in my life if it wasn't for my spouse's belief in me. So I think it's great to see that manifested in a brew pub like that. And their events are great. I can't wait for them to be able to have events again.
Yeah.
Quality.
Absolutely.
It's all about the quality with them. It's always perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff definitely
Right.
has the talent to hit specs on any style he chooses to make. It's it's a unique talent. Very, very good at that.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The 12 Metal Gear, when he had them hanging around his neck. Amazing.
Still have that shirt somewhere.
All right, Estella. What's your number 2, Estella?
I went with Benchmark. I really
Nice.
missed Benchmark, Rachel and Matt, and their beers, and it also was, I want to say, 4 minutes from my house, so that helped a lot too. But yeah, I'm glad Matt's somewhere else now, and he's making beer again, so that makes me very happy.
Yep.
I still got it.
Love it. That's rad.
Such a good Great pull, Shawn. Great pull. But yeah, that's my number 2.
Something to strive for. Right?
Yeah.
All right, I don't know how to follow up with that one, but
Exactly.
my number 2 is Chula Vista Brewery. They're new. They're like relatively new in the last 5 years. They won an award in 2018 on Sam Adams called the Brewing the American Dream. They also won at the International Beer Festival, or JBF, for the Browner Than Ivan.
That's
which
right.
was
That guy. That
guy.
So Tim Brown and his wife Dahlia, they've been doing a great job down there at Chula Vista. They're trying to resurrect that whole like Third Avenue. They jumped into it, and I mean, it's been great. I mean, their beers are been phenomenal. I mean, I'm not every time I go there, like I want to get a different beer every time, and like every beer is always great. So
Good one, Dennis. Good one.
In come the comments. Are they in Chula Vista? Ivan who? Yes. I'm loving all the comments and questions today.
These are all our people.
Oh no, who's who in San Diego beer is here because of you guys. Just FYI, real quick. But everybody who's anybody is here watching, commenting, listening, and laughing along with us. And
all right. And you know why they're here? Because they want info on the new thing. So we're gonna get down to business now. I mean,
Yes.
This is for real. When are you opening? Because we all need to mark our calendars. All right.
90 minutes have meant nothing. This is for real now.
Yeah.
But you know what? You know they came here for like info. They want to ink this on the calendar.
Yes.
When
I'm
can
sorry,
we,
you're
when can we
cutting
have
out.
to
I
see it?
can't hear you.
That sounded like May 29th.
Put your glasses on. You hear us better.
We're poised for world domination by the 25th is what we're shooting for.
Excellent. All right. So we'll pencil that in. You want us to pencil that in?
Pencil
Maybe
it
like,
in.
okay.
Memorial weekend.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We'll be selling beer by then.
Very
I
good.
will.
Very good.
Memorial Day weekend.
I just want one of those hats.
He's like, that's news to me, but it sounds good to me.
You have to wear it off the
$50.
side. You can't wear it straight. They don't work that way. We have the logo labeled so that you have to wear it.
No. Can't do this. Like,
Look, we got old man hats too.
There it is.
That's
Good job. Good look, Abel.
beer only.
That's a good look, Abel. That's a good look. Yeah.
Okay. Here, hats are great, but beers are better. What beers can we expect? What are you brewing? What are they called? I mean, just take your time and take us through what you have in store for people coming to your brewery.
Well, the first beer that we brewed, the Dry Irish Stout, coming in at just under 5.5%. Typical.
Hey.
Nice.
Yeah, there it is. Right there. That'll be the first offering. After that, I've got a 6.5% IPA hopped with Shred and Mosaic. Seems to pair very well. Let's see. After that, double IPA, Wild Child, named after certain little
Cameron? Yes.
Yeah, he took that one.
That's why it's a double.
30%. Then we have a rye IPA. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard of a beer style like that, but
I hope it's super clear.
well,
Not so much.
super cloudy. But this will be an unrefined, unclarified. We don't own a filter, so no worries of that. So on top of the well-known Nelson Sauvin hop from New Zealand, there's this newer variety that New Zealand Hops Limited, the biggest hop supplier from New Zealand, has actually thrown a little bit of money in research and development for this hop that I'm really excited about. It's called Nectaron. You may have heard of it. Beers like Five Suits, Planet Nectaron.
I was going to say, Five Suits knows about that.
Yeah. It turns out Nectaron and Nelson Sauvin actually play very well together, so be on the lookout for that. On top of that, there's our Pale Ale, Centennial Mosaic Hop Pale Ale, clocking in just over 5%. Going to be really easy drinking. There's a lager in the tank fermenting away feverishly. That'll probably take a little bit longer to get ready. And then there's a blonde beer that we will have regular available, and then flavored versions. A red that we've been, pretty good at making for the last almost 2 decades. There's something similar to what we've been making, and then a honey beer.
Ooh.
So those would be the first, 9 offerings. On top of that, look for seasonal specialties. Weather will kind of dictate where we go with the beers. And then, as fast as the customers consume certain beers, we'll be sure to make them in more frequency and go from there. Just try to do what we've been doing really well for the last 20 years and just make the best beer that we possibly can with the best ingredients that we can get our hands on, and go from there.
Yep, and some collaborations.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Everybody needs a
Something
field
on
trip
for
to
everybody.
Well, okay.
We're ready to drink as soon as you guys open the door. Okay,
Yes, we
just
are.
saying.
Just indeed.
Just saying, we're ready. We're ready. I think
We're ready
all of
to
San
drink with you.
Diego, is just anticipating you guys opening. So this is why this show was so important to so many people, because they want to know, how can they support you guys? How can they come in? I've got people that'll tell me, I'll go sweep if that's what they need me to do. Like, I'll do whatever they need.
You have no idea. Those trees are ridiculous.
Yeah, breaking leaves is a good thing to do
Oh,
right
please.
now.
Anybody want to rake leaves in the peanut gallery? Let's go. Let's go, guys. Let's go.
Yeah, can you rake with one arm?
With
Yes.
one arm? Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, but
We'll
you
just
can do
get the
it.
little helmets with the beers in each side.
It's
and
been
we'll-
done.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. So
Oh, yeah.
will you guys be canning? Matt wants to know that.
Eventually.
Yeah.
We want to buy a canning line, guys, when we can.
Okay.
Right.
When we
Okay.
can. We do.
You have
Yeah.
crowlers in the meantime, though, right?
Yep.
For to go?
Yeah.
Got a growler machine all set up, ready to go.
Crowlers
Okay.
and growlers.
And we also had a question from Chew Your Beer in LA, if your beer is going to be available in Los Angeles.
If we can drive that far.
Well,
We're
first
going to
off-
actually probably approach this in a what we can do, we will do, and what we can't, we won't. LA is many, many, many retail tap handles away.
Okay.
So we're not that big.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
and so it's going to really depend on if the people around here don't want to buy it, then we may have to do it. But
That's cute that you say that. That's cute. Come on.
Well, bonus question. I mean, how do you feel that people across California and probably other states want your beer?
it's amazing. It's always been amazing. It's rewarding. It when you work hard and have a goal. And your business philosophy is very simple. Just make the best beer you can. Don't market. Let the people tell the rest of the world if your beer is good or not. You'll know it because people will come from far away to come get your beer. I think that should be what carries us through. If my estimations are correct, people want the best. It doesn't matter what it is, they really want quality products, something that is, really cared for and made properly. That's our focus. We're going to still try to make the best beer possible on this planet. And if that doesn't get us, into your local store or market, it's probably because they're all buying it out of the tasting room.
Yep.
This is a good problem to have.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
speaking of tasting room,
Please let us have that problem.
we'll help with that right now. Well, what days will you be open, and kind of like what are the hours that you're shooting for?
To start off, we're always going to be closed on Monday. Don't come on a Monday. Don't say you've ever been there on a Monday. They've never been open on a Monday. And we will never be open on a Monday. And then to start off, we're going to try and just do 2 to 7, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then noon to 7, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Who knows where it'll take us in the future, but that's what we're going to start off with and see if that works for us.
Sounds reasonable. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Now your opening will be of the soft variety. So many jokes. But
We're going to do a big reveal, but they won't let us blow anything up. So, shit. No, they won't let us. So, soft opening.
now, do you envision something down the line along the lines of a grand opening event or something like that, or any other events that you're looking forward to kind of like getting going once you've been open for a while and we can have events in an easier way? Anything down the line that we can look forward to?
We like to party.
I've heard
I love that answer.
We kind of have to gauge what's going to be allowed.
Right.
What we know that we can accomplish well. Nothing is set in stone at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
And it would be hard to host a festival where the brewery is. So it would have to be off-site. We simply don't have the facilities to take care of, bathroom, parking, and event. So it would have to be somewhere else. We do have work in Alpine. That's not excluding anything, but anyway, it would be hard to do it on site.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And Dennis is asking, are you guys going to have food?
No food.
Nope.
No food.
Pizza wants to come and help us.
Yeah.
Angry Pete is a possibility. We might consider food trucks. That's still, we'll discuss that amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
But we have really good restaurants here in Alpine.
Yeah.
We wouldn't mind people bringing in their own food. We would encourage that. Actually, the best Mexican restaurant in Alpine. And how many was there? Like
about 7.
At least 7 Mexican restaurants in the little town of Alpine, and the best one is right next to us, literally right next to us. So, we would give you the phone to use to call the Tapatias next door to order your food.
Ben called it. Ben says Tapatias is bomb.
Yep.
Yeah, baby.
You're right.
And do you guys have a website now where people can start to buy merchandise? Because you've gotten asked that multiple times.
We are almost there.
Okay.
The day is there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We're
Perfect.
almost there.
Okay.
We'll get our social media on track one of these days.
I mean, I'm just saying, I need a new ball cap. I mean,
Yeah, but we'll be there.
Wait, hold on.
We're gonna try and bulk up some merchandise for the opening, but we'll try and open up
There it is.
within a couple days.
All right. And speaking of social media, what are the handles that how can we follow you? Get the information once it's all up and going well.
Shawn?
McIlhenneybrewing.com. I think will be our main website address. After that, Mcilhenney Brewing. Hashtag it. Instagram. We're still trying to work that out. Near and dear friend to us.
Can you spell that for me?
Did he say spell?
Brewing.com. Check it out.
And the baby's off camera.
Right.
Check it out. I like it. Good,
Yeah.
good tag. Good call to action. Very
Right.
nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right. So, I think it's that time, Estella.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the list right now. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people.
I like that.
Okay. So, if you want to help us out, join our Patreon list.
Okay. I will.
Please become one of our Patreons and you can get the shenanigans that goes on after the show. There is a little private thing for our Patreons that was recorded, so you guys need to hear that too. But this week, we have Ben, Bill, Brian and Christopher Pariah, Brian Gould, Captain Eli, Casey, Dan Diego's, Dante, David Martin, who's back in San Diego. Hi, friend. I'll see you soon.
Second.
Second best producer on the show. Yes. Doug,
He's all
Four
right.
Brewers Podcast. Garen with Beer Alien. Greg, the Indie Beer Show brand COVID-19 pandemically socially distanced Zorball, LLC. Hoppy Craftsman Podcast. James, Jared, Jason, Jess from Ale Tales, Joaquin, Joseph, Joey from Hoppy Beer Gear, Juan, Judith, Kenneth, honorary patron for life, Larry Smith, love you. Liz Bauer, who's hiking right now. She's on the trail. Keeping up with her.
Go,
Yeah,
girl.
if you guys can keep up with her. Matt and Candace Babineau, who are on and watching. Matt from The Perfect Pour. Miguel, Mr. Peacock from Tapcraft. Mike, Norman, OC Brew Girl, Pacific Beer Chat. Robert from 13 Point. Rudy the artist, who's also on. Sergio, Tamales Las Golondrinas. Daniel, Brian, Brian Beagle, and
I know him.
Vegas
What?
Jay.
Vegas.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo.
Just
That's a
because
lot.
Brian Beagle made us.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah. So, that list gets longer every week, guys.
You do an exceptional job on it.
Thank you.
I could not even.
I'm 3 beers in too, so I think I did a pretty good job.
Oh, you did great.
Yeah. One of those is an elder.
If you guys not noticed throughout the show, me and Shawn been like fighting with hats.
No.
Hat duel.
Yeah. Just go back from the beginning, and then keep watching. We're moving the hats around.
Screenshots of the entire show and where the hats are just turning. There it is. Yeah.
Hats. Let's go with the number ones. Let's go with our number ones.
Yeah. Number ones. Yes.
Run breweries, past and present. I will start because I started at the beginning. I'll start now. My number one is North Park Beer Company with Kelsey.
Yeah.
The thing about it was with Kelsey, didn't know who the hell he was, but I heard that he was a home brewer making this great beer and blah 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 blah. And then all of a sudden there was like this brewery that opened up in North Park, and I was like, oh cool, I'll check it out. And then it was like, it wasn't quite open yet. But then it eventually opened up, and then I realized, like, wait, that's the guy that I heard at Home Brewery won awards.
That's the guy.
That's the guy. Yeah.
That's the guy. And then it's a family-owned brewery. He's very, him, his wife, and the kid and the daughter. I work at Society, not trying to plug, but they come by Society all the time and hang out, and it's great. I mean, I've hung out with the guy, and like, I didn't really like. It was one of those things like. It's like one of those things when you meet somebody, like, oh, you're so-and-so, you're a great brewer, but, like, I don't want to be, like, that weird
Fanboy.
Too late.
fanboy, but I'm like... And then he's like...
You're already past that, Abel. Sorry.
I know you, and I'm like, you do? So, yes. So my number one will be North Park Beer Company, Kelsey McNair, and all the beers he makes over there. I mean... I have not had a bad beer from North Park Beer Company, and his establishment right there in the corner. It's a great place to be.
Yeah.
Target across the street was wrong, but his place was great. So
I don't think he should have cut his hair.
That was a pretty good look for him.
Yeah, he looked great. His hair was awesome.
He seemed like a
I mean,
rebel,
I would die to have hair like that.
you, Tom Nickel, and Paul Segura would love it. So,
His beers are all great.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, we talked about Bagby earlier. Bagby's got some good-looking hair too. And he's got a full beard going on right now. I wanted to sit on his lap and ask him for a Christmas present. Like, it got weird for me.
Oh, you're missing Brian, huh?
So anyway.
Okay, my turn.
Will you be my new Brian?
Yeah. So I went south of the border for my number one, which is Insurgente. I've spoken about Insurgente so many times. I love Insurgente. The brothers down there killing it, and their mom is just right there backing them up the entire time. Hopefully they get back to where they need to be, but by far Insurgente, my favorite brewery in Tijuana, probably in Mexico, honestly. And I go over there quite a bit. So yeah.
Cool.
So
Take
yeah.
me with you one day.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm ready.
Let's go. Yes, I will take you guys.
Sweet.
Brandon, who you
All
got?
right.
Number one.
I have Council Brewing, which I know a lot of people miss them. I really love the family aspect of everything. I mean, you even saw their kid when you went to the tasting room, and there's your family business right there. And they accomplished a lot from a really small space. I mean, stop me if you've heard this story somewhere before. But they put a lot, put a lot of heart into it, stuck together, got to know their got to know the people in their tasting room. I think that was always very remarkable because they sure as heck were busy, as you guys can understand too. It's like when they would go out there and see people, they'd spend time with them. They'd help out charities. They did a lot of things. Yeah. They punched above their weight, I thought, as far as like having that little bit of space. When they had their events, they were great too. But it's good that we still see them around. They're still frequenting breweries, and they're still part of that SD beer thing, which is wonderful. But yeah, I miss them. I thought they did a really good job.
Yeah,
us too.
Nice.
All right, Shawn and Jamie, you want to do your number ones?
Mine's Lost Abbey. I don't know if I just feel like they're family to me, but
no, it's good. They're a great family to work for
so long.
Oh yeah,
and they honestly, their beers are spot on all the time. Never once have I had a beer from them and I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like it's always, this is amazing. We have so many bottles from them that it's always a pleasure to pop open and drink. And we've started to be like, stop hoarding bottles. We have to drink them and appreciate them. And it's exciting and it's good. And it's yes, let's enjoy this. Let's share this. Let's drink amazing beer because I think
they just had their warehouse sale. Might have picked up quite a few bottles.
It's amazing the things that they've hoarded over the years that you're like, oh shit, that's amazing. Thank you. I will take that. But
ain't nobody mad at you for that, girl. Seriously.
Yeah, so that's mine. I don't know about Shawn, but
I agree with everybody. But you know what? I'm gonna say us. Sorry.
We couldn't pick you guys. Okay. We couldn't pick you guys. We said collectively as a show, or else you'd be all of our number ones. Okay. That's why we didn't. That's why we didn't pick you guys. So you're allowed to pick yourself. Go for it.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you say? I'm sorry. Did you say us or Hess? Sorry, bad joke. Let me go back.
I thought it was outside.
So Pat and Val.
I got one. West Brew. So we were visiting one day after Pat got his first inoculation, and we went there for lunch, and Matt, who I know as a sales rep, came up to us and she says, oh my God, we just want to let you know that, my dad and I started this brewery because we wanted to make beer like Alpine Beer Company. And it was the nicest thing that anybody's ever said. I mean, Pat did call for a reservation because, it's right at the end of that COVID thing. We didn't know if we'd get a seat.
Right.
We didn't want to wait around and not get a seat. So we made a res, and they were just so darn nice to us.
They waited around until we showed up so that they could, say hi.
It was amazing.
Aww.
The food was amazing. The beer was amazing. Letty was killing the kitchen. I realized she's abdicated her throne, and we're sorry for her to go, but my God.
No, you're not. No, you're not. I'm like, no, you're not. You know where she's going, right?
Tell me.
You have something to do with this?
Yeah.
She might be coming to Mujeres, guys.
Get it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's just so exciting for you and for her.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yay!
Yeah.
My heart
I'm-
goes. That's so
I'm very excited for that. I cannot wait for her to be there. So
Yay!
yeah, she'll be at Mujeres now, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, we'd love to come down there. Yes, please. Oh, yes.
Yes, please. Whenever you want.
We're going to come in and
You
disguise.
got one, Pat?
I do. I
right.
do. I actually am not going to go local though. You have to understand kind of where I came from when I was modeling our business. I wanted to choose successful business practices from successful businesses. So if you know anything about the business I'm going to tell you about, then you'll know that we copied some things like we don't advertise. We don't use a lot of adjuncts and weird fruity shit, and don't fall for the trends. We set trends. Sierra Nevada. Sierra Nevada is still family owned. They are some of the best consistent beer examples on the planet. Their care for the world and the environment, the whole package was something that is admirable. And I think they deserve a lot of the credit for how we've approached our business models and how, because of them, we're successful.
Here, here.
Awesome.
Yep. Sorry, it's not local, but
No, mine was
Speak your truth. Speak your truth.
Mine was a different country.
Influence
It's fine.
on so many breweries.
I mean, I picked Chula Vista. That's not local.
Where is that?
Isn't that Mexico?
No, I mean, just saying.
Pretty close. Pretty close.
So they're a Mexican brewery, and Mcilhenneys an Egyptian brewery, right?
Yeah. Like
I had a part of Cairo.
Ah,
Take a left at the Sphinx, and you're there.
there it is. There it
And
is.
then a right at Tapatio.
Yeah, at Tapatios, right next door to Tapatios.
Right at Tapatios, yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
All right, Abel. What do we got coming up for the people?
Ratio.
So the next couple shows we got coming up, we taking a week off. So the next show, May 27th, it's One Season Brewery. Where are they located at, Brandon?
In Grantville. They're
Okay.
yeah, not far from Citizen Brewer, and in that same complex as them, and the original production facility for Kensington Brewing.
Okay.
One that's not in Kensington.
The one. Okay. So, and then after that, we get another week off, and then you come back with us on June 10th. It's Harlan Brewing. And then after that, a week off again, because you need it after you need.
Spoiler alert: we're bi-weekly.
Yeah, we're bi-weekly. I don't want to give it away, but we're bi-weekly now. So June 24th is. You know what? I hit up Brandon earlier because I feel like I'm gonna mess this up. Exteria Brewing.
Anorexia.
Exactly. Exactly. I knew I was going to mess it up twice. I messed it up last week. I messed up now. So, Anorexia Brewery. It's on June 24th.
So they took over the Circle 9 Brewing in Kearney Mesa. Ballast Point veteran in there with his business partner doing that.
So when
they're going to open the same weekend as you all.
Well,
what will we do?
They're like, wow.
Someone goes to their opening.
Abel, fix your hat.
I mean, you know what? I'll go to your opening, and then I'll go to theirs, and then I'll go to O'Brien's to meet you guys later.
I'll be at O'Brien.
See? That's how it works.
There it is. Yeah.
I like it, man. Very good. Very diplomatic. That's awesome.
Who do you guys get to talk to at Harlan?
What's that?
When you have Harlan on the show, who do you guys get to talk to? Is it going to be
Ryan?
Ryan?
Yeah.
Just Ryan.
Yeah. We're not exactly. Well, we're not sure exactly who it is yet, but I am certain that he will be one of them.
I want to know why you asked. I want to know why you asked
I'm not
that
ready
question.
for that show yet. I'm not
Why do you ask that
I love
question?
all those guys. I'm
I
jealous
was
I don't
like-
get to spend
I
more
was
time
like-
with them.
I was like,
What's on
ooh.
the show, I think, actually.
Please be part of the
I'm sorry.
peanut gallery that day.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Please be on and ask them the hard questions, please.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. I hold Nick Morone in very high regard. Brian, being a former, employee of the same company that I worked for a little bit.
Yeah.
Love that guy
Nothing
too.
but love. Nothing but love, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still
there
They're
it
making
is.
great beers. So
Awesome.
kudos.
Well, if you all have any questions for any of these fine folks, just hit us up at cheers@indie.beer, or when we put up the event on Facebook, just put it right there in the comments and we will get them and ask a bunch of questions like we did with Matt's today. It really is going to happen. We swear.
Yeah.
All
If
right.
we don't know the answer, we'll make it up.
Oh, yeah. So,
Outlandish.
that's right. So what lies did you tell today?
What was the lie? What was the lie?
Yeah, we're really happy to be here tonight.
We're not even
That was a lie. We've enjoyed our
Oh.
time with you guys. That was the lie. We know. We know.
Oh,
Well, in all
I
truth,
apologized
we
at
sure
the
did.
beginning. Yeah.
But that's
I'm
a
the
lie.
bottom one.
Nah, we sure enjoyed the
Oh,
time with
kill
you
the
guys.
poor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, nice.
thanks for having us, you guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
this was
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you so
Really
much.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
This
And
is
we're all
fun.
going to get out there and support you all.
Can't wait
We-
to see you guys.
multiple
Woo.
times.
I got a
Multiple
big
times.
one for you. Saving it for a year.
Love you guys. I love you guys so much.
Oh.
So much. So
Well,
can't wait to
for-
see you.
yeah, sentiment is the same across the board
Yeah.
for the Mcilhenneys. God, you guys are so great.
right back at you.
For Abel and Estella and myself. This has been the Indie Beer Show. We really appreciate you hanging out with us. Good night.
So much love.